So one of the big questions a lot of fans have since Triple H has been has taken over and made a lot of significant changes throughout the first few months he's been running things. One of the things people are always wondering about is Sasha and Naomi. Now Naomi looks like she's the closest to returning since she's backstage with Jimmy, and Sasha recently was backstage at the recent Monterrey, Mexico house show that they did. So the question obviously is, with Triple H he's accomplishing all these things, he's making things happen, but what's the holdup of him getting Sasha? Like I mentioned, Naomi seems more along the lines of locked and ready to return. So she's not a problem. Sasha, on the other hand, is. So basically, people want to know, what's the holdup with her? Why is she, not so willing to make a return to WWE to help the women's division out? What's the issue and everything, right? What's the issue? And I brought up the fact one time in a video, which has gotten a lot of traction lately, so thank you very much for that. And that was before the YouTube temporarily, and I look at it that way, temporarily suspended my monetization. I said that there's a lot of men and women that, Triple H has on his radar to try to get back, to have them return, be part of the company, that more along the lines would like to, but they won't, because they still believe Vince is running things, because you have the likes of Bruce Pritchard and Kevin Dunn still around, and as long as they're still around, a lot of people are going to have the tendency to believe that Vince himself is still around as well. So basically, Sasha, might fall into that camp as well. She might fall into that camp as well of, she doesn't truly believe Vince is gone unless Bruce and Kevin are gone. And that might be true, but that's just a speculated opinion. It's just a speculated opinion, but it might be true. We can't say that it's not, or anything like that. We can't say that it's not. But what else could there be? What else could be the holdup? And a lot of people were talking about this, and obviously there's several, things that could be holding it up on Sasha's part. There could be several things holding it up on Sasha's part, but, it's like, what could they be? What could they, potentially be, that's holding up, negotiations to try to get her back, what's going on. And the first one that comes to mind is she wants to compete in Japan. She wants to go over and work with the ladies there. Whether it's with Stardom, New Japan, which is, New Japan pretty much owns Stardom, but you get the idea, like New Japan, Stardom, or one of the other women Joshi promotions out there that's notable. She has made it well known that she wants to go and compete, over in Japan against those women. So, and I think, I don't know if it's still in existence, but there's also All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling. Remember, All Japan had their promotion, then they had the women's tie-in from that as well. They had the women's division tie-in or promotion, or half of the promotion tied into that as well. So, could that be, what the holdup is? I mean, obviously, she heard that Shinsuke Nakamura is getting a shot to go compete easy for me to say, for Pro Wrestling Noah against the Great Muta on New Year's Day as part of Muta's farewell tour. And Nakamura is basically going to be one of his final singles opponents on his way out. Now, everybody always wonders, okay, is that being done because, Muda's a legend and there's no reason to not want to see it happen, or is there more? Some could say that it's maybe because they want to get Muda into the Hall of Fame, and that might be true. That might be true, but we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, like I said, Sasha obviously probably heard about that, and maybe on her recent backstage visit brought it up and said, hey, look, I know you're letting Nakamura do this as to pay respects to Great Muda and the career he's had. I understand you're allowing him to go over and do this match. But if you're allowing him to do that, even if it's a one-off deal, what about me? What about people like me that want to go over to Japan and compete on occasions? Like, if we have nothing else to do, why not let us just go over and do that? She might bring that up, and if that is the holdup, and maybe they work something out, I can see Hunter being like, okay, you got a point. All right, fine. We'll work it out so you can go over there once in a while and compete. But Hunter's not just going to let her compete. Oh, had to connect the charger there. But anyway, Hunter's not just going to let her go over there and compete, if, the reasoning isn't big enough. So again, I could see her bringing up, the fact that she's heard about Nakamura going over as I guess you could say not just a negotiation kind of agreement to try to get Muda into the Hall of Fame, but also as a way to pay respects to Muda in his career and allow Shinsuke to have this match, as Muda's, one of Muda's final opponents and everything, But I could see her bringing that up and suggesting, well, why not, let people like me on occasions do something similar, with the women, basically, like I said, it doesn't have to, she could point out, hey, it doesn't have to be all the time. It's just like on rare occasions. Why not just let us go out there and, or go over there and have matches with the women, of the Joshi wrestling scene and go from there. And like I said, Hunter, maybe at the recent backstage visit, probably said, okay, fine, you got yourself a deal. We'll see what we can do. But he probably also said, look, if we're going to let you do this, the reasoning has to be justified. Like, the match that you will be part of, has to be, of, I would say, I guess it would have to be of huge importance, basically. It would have to be of huge importance, for him to allow her to do it. So, again, I could see, if that's the reasoning, Hunter being, not so reluctant, but willing to let it happen, but only if it's agreed upon that the matches she'll be part of have relevancy, have importance to them, and are not just, throwaway matches. Like, there's got to be legitimacy behind it. There's got to be a reason, behind it when it happens. So, if going to Japan and competing is one of the main reasons, if not the reason, and she brings up the fact that Nakamura is going, even if it's a one-off against Muda, I could see Hunter, listening and seeing her side of things and seeing her side of the argument and being like, okay, fine. You want to do this? That's cool with me. But again, like I mentioned, he'll probably say, look, if you're going to do it, it's got to have importance. The match itself, you going over there, to compete on our behalf with this other promotion against whoever they have you face, has to have relevancy, has to have importance and everything behind it, has to have a legit reasoning. So I can see him bringing that up, and I'm sure Sasha would, Sasha would, listen and and probably would agree with that, and probably say, you're right. Me going over there and competing, I will give, I can see Sasha agreeing and saying, yeah, you're right. Me going over there does have to have a reasoning, for me going and having a match in another promotion on our behalf, basically representing the company. So I can see Sasha agreeing to that. But if it's not Japan, what else could it be? Well, here's the thing. Some people brought up the fact that she wants to go and do Hollywood. She wants to do movies. She wants to do television. She wants to do the whole shebang, you know. So people are believing that if it's not Japan, you know, that's holding things up, you know, upon her returning to WWE under Triple H's regime, that it could also be the fact that she wants to do movies. You know, she wants to go out, you know, and do movies and television like she's doing with The Mandalorian. But she wants to do even more. You know, she wants to do even more movies. She wants to do even more, you know, outside projects and stuff like that. You know, so, you know, if that's like the reasoning, you know, behind the holdup, then look, I get where she's coming from. You know, she has all this multi-talentness, you know, within her. You know, why not let her have the ball and run with it? You know, why not let her have the ball and run with it and see what she can bring to the table? You know, so I get where Sasha's coming from. I do. I get where she's coming from with this. I really do. You know, if that's the case, you know, she wants to, you know, if it's not Japan, and instead she wants to do movies, she wants to do shows and other outside projects, maybe make an album, a music album, a rap album, whatever, R&B album, you know, then I could see, you know, her, you know, not wanting to sign or go back to WWE until it's agreed upon that she could do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe she's, you know, saying, hey, I want to do all this, but on the condition that I use my name, my real name, not Sasha Banks, and everything. I use my real name, and that, you know, there will be, because, you know, WWE's always been known to do this, there'll be no cutting of the profits. In other words, there'll be no share of, WWE gets, you know, 50%, you know, here and there and stuff like that. You know, maybe her thing is, hey, I want to do all these projects, movies and shows and music and all that, and I want to do it under my real name. And oh, by the way, I want to make sure that I and my team get most of the credit and most of the percentage of earnings, and not WWE. Maybe that's the holdup. We don't know. That could be the holdup too. And if it is the holdup, that very reason that I mentioned, then again, if I'm Triple H and I want to prove that, you know, I'm different than Vince, you know, I'm different, that me and my wife and Nick Khan were different than Vince, and this is a new era, this is an all new era, then if I'm Hunter, I let her do it. I let her have, you know, these projects. I let her, you know, take part in all these, you know, different, you know, projects, from movies to television shows to music and all that. I let her take part in it under her real name, and I agree to let her and her team have the sole credit and percentage of earnings that they get from any project that she's in or she takes part in. So again, I could see that being another reasoning for the holdup, and I could see, like I said, Hunter and Stephanie and Nick Khan wanting to prove that, you know, hey, this is a new era. This is not the old Vince era. I could see them being cool with it, you know, reluctantly cool, but, you know, being cool with it and saying, okay, fine, you know, you can do it. And I think that's mainly what this whole situation is about. It's not the fact that Sasha doesn't want to come back. She does. She wants to come home. There's no doubt. Naomi, like I said, is just 1 foot away from stepping back through that door in WWE and being in the ring again. You know, we can all see that. But with Sasha, I think it's all about, she wants independence. She wants WWE to truly, I guess, be about letting people be their own independent contractors, like they promote. Like Vince has always promoted. Like, hey, you say I'm an independent contractor? Let me do this stuff. and prove everybody right. You know, and you know, if that's the case, if that's like the real motivation behind it, then again, I can't disagree with her. I mean, let's be honest. She was one of the founding faces of the women's revolution, along with Charlotte, along with Becky, along with Bailey, along with Paige and Emma, and all of them, and AJ Lee. You know, she was one of the main faces. And obviously she takes, you know, making a revolution happen very seriously. So why not take it that extra distance by saying, look, I want to do all these things. I want to do Japan. I want to be in these other projects outside of wrestling and all that. But I want to have my own independence in doing it. Or I want to have an agreement of when I do certain things, I do it of my own independence. And there's no, you know, repercussions whatsoever. And again, if that is the reasoning, if that is the main legitimate mission she wants to, she wants to achieve, and for the WWE and for women's wrestling and all that, if that is the the main reason at the end of the day that she is holding up everything right now and coming back to the company, then again I can't fault her, because look, you want to, because look, you want to prove, you want WWE to finally show that yes, our talent, men and women, are independent contractors. Then what better way for that to be proven than to have somebody say, look, I want to come back, I know you want me back, but this is where things change, and I'm going to be the one that's that bearer of change, to where at the end of the day, starting with me and slowly percolating throughout the entire roster, every single woman and man will finally be independent contractors and allowed to do their own thing outside of WWE, and even possibly work other promotions if the opportunity is correct, is correctly provided for them in the right way. Like I said, if Japan is the main holdup, if Japan is the main holdup and everything, then going there and competing, I could see that being more of a reasonable agreement, out of the two or something like that. I could see it being the more reasonable agreement, because of the fact that I could see Hunter saying that, okay, fine, I have no problem with that, but basically looking her in the eye and saying, however, we got to make sure whatever matches you compete in, compete in over there, have relevancy and have importance to them. So you're not so that you're not just being sent out there for no reason. But again, I think what Sasha will also bring up, if she hasn't brought it up already, is that if you let her go over there, just like you're letting Shinsuke go over there on New Year's Day, then you could get yourself a great foothold in Japan for NXT Japan, by letting them doing by letting people like her and Shinsuke and others do these one-shots appearances and matches with these other promotions over there. She could bring that up if she hasn't already, and that might be what convinces them to let her do Japan. We don't know. Again, it could be that. It could be the whole, she wants to do movies and shows and music, but she wants to make sure that she and her crew get a majority of the credit, a majority of the percentage of the revenue and everything. It could be that as well. If it's not Japan that's holding things up, and maybe it's also the fact that the ultimate goal at the end of the day is her saying to WWE, her saying to Hunter and Stephanie and Nick, hey, I want to come back, but things are going to change. Things have to change, and they start with me. And that change starts with me, and that change is you start promoting all the superstars as what you say they are. Independent contractors that are allowed to do what they want, when they want, without any repercussions whatsoever. So, yeah, the thing is with Sasha, the thing with Sasha is, You know, whatever the holdup is, obviously it's a good, you know, she has a valid reason for doing it. Because if it's one of those two, I can understand it. If it's the other main reason that she wants to be the one that, you know, basically starts the change where every superstar, man and woman, is considered, you know, a true independent contractor and allowed to do, you know, their own thing outside of the company, you know, I could see that as well. I could see that as well. So, you know, without any repercussions, period, or maybe, or, well, yeah, without any repercussions, but also maybe talk it over, say, I'm going to go do this, if that's okay with you, or can I try to, if not, can I try to reschedule at a certain time? You know, I could see that third reasoning being, you know, or that third option there and reasoning being a legit reasoning as well. You know, that she wants to be the bearer of change. She wants to be the one that finally opens that door of independence and allows every person on the roster to finally have that independence to go and do what they want, when they want, outside of the company, you know, as well as maybe, you know, if nothing else is going on with them on television or, you know, like storyline wise or anything, you know, go out and compete, you know, for other promotions, independent or whatever. So, again, I could see one of those three things being the reasoning. The first two at the top, again, being probably the biggest reasons out of them all, and the third one, you know, probably being the overall reasoning when you combine the two together. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's going on. Hopefully the holdup doesn't last too much longer and she'll come back, because I know Hunter does not want to lose her to Tony Khan. I know that. So obviously he's going to do whatever it takes to bring her back, bring her in. And I've got a feeling she's going to get what she wants. You know, out of one of the first two options I mentioned, or maybe she gets a combination of both, you know, with that third option, as well as starts the change of, the revolution of independence that, you know, that obviously a lot of WWE superstars, men and women, have been wanting to finally show that they truly are independent contractors. But what do you think? What do you think out of the two, if not three, reasonings could be the holdup for Sasha Banks? You know, let me know down in the comments, in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Super chat, super stickers are not on at this time. Are not on. But you can still support me at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2 and at Cash App at BWRoses98. You can also find me at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else, just in time for the holidays. Got some new stuff up there as well, guys, you can check out. Also, you can check me out at BW Roses Discussion, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also, you can check me out at Deviant.com, says BVW1979, Patreon.com, says BW Roses with a $1, $3 tier. And again, also support me at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2, Cash App at BW Roses98, at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get here on YouTube either. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think out of those 2 to 3 reasons could be, you know, the reason for the holdup? Let me know down below in the comments and in the live chat during the premiere. And until then, I will talk to y'all later.